Hi everybody, it is Winston with PerfecPress HTV. We are live today on this beautiful Friday for Memorial Day weekend, and I got a new product to show y'all. It's called PerfecPress SubliFabric 2.0. So we've had SubliFabric for about a year now, but it wasn't the greatest product in the world. It was a silver-based dark garment cotton transfer, and it worked okay, but because of the silver base, it didn't look the greatest on all images, and it also was a little bit thick, a little bit tough to work with. So we had our manufacturer go back into the lab and create a new white base, soft sublimation on dark garment style transfer. The great part about this is it works and applies just like normal HTV, and then you can turn up your heat press and sublimate it as if you've put a direct little piece of fabric on your shirt. It feels better than our competitors, such as Sizer Easy Subli and SubliFlex. I honestly find it easier to use, and it looks great, holds up in the wash for a real long time, and it's a fantastic transfer. So today I'm going to show you how to use it using the Cameo 4 and the Cameo Silhouette software. We also are using an Epson printer that we converted to sublimation. This is the ET7750. Any of the EcoTank lines can be converted to sublimation. We use Cosmo brand inks to convert it. I've been trying out their inks. I've been honestly pretty impressed with them. I'm not a huge believer in converting inkjets to sublimation, but this one so far has been very impressive. Again, that's Cosmo inks I stuck in here to make it into a sublimation printer. So let's jump on in. Let's create this sort of shirt using the new SubliFabric 2.0 and really show it off. And I'll talk about the positives and negatives, what you got to look out for, how to find your settings, and everything. We're going to be doing it from scratch. And if you want, take a second. If you have a style image you want to see, comment below, and maybe my assistant will be able to tell me in time what kind of images y'all want to see. If not, I want to start with a Winnie the Pooh. So let's get started, y'all. If I have time, I will make a second one, y'all. So please comment anything you want. So right now, let's go. We're going to look for Winnie the Pooh. I want to type in PNG after. That usually gets you an isolated look. Cameo software, you don't need PNGs though, so you can find images like this that aren't actually PNGs, they're JPEGs with the PNG box around it. You can use those if you want. I'm going to use this cute Winnie the Pooh here though. Looks real great.
Someone commented, do you just put normal black and bold black ink on the 7750?
Do you put just normal black on the black tank 7750? Oh yeah, okay, so yes, so the 7750, it has a pure black tank and then has black. Most of the other ones are just CMYK. This one has the pure black. So I ended up just sticking extra black in the pure black, and then my images have been turning out just fine. Sorry, there was a little confusion there for a second. But yeah, I did that. When I ordered this printer, I didn't realize that it was one of the ones they don't technically consider compatible because it contains a pure black extra. But I just stuck the black ink in there, and it seems to be working just fine. So I want to take our Winnie the Pooh, I want to copy my image, and I'm going to take it over to my Silhouette Studio. So for Silhouette Studio, we're going to start with page setup. So that's this right here, and we're going to set it up as being no cut mat at first. We're using a Cameo 4, and then for the media size, we're going to do it the same as our sublimation paper for starting off. So we're going to use 11 by 17 sizing. So right here, you're going to type in 11 by 17. Now that it's sized to 11 by 17, you want to paste your image. So I'm going to Control V. I have my Winnie the Pooh pasted. I don't like that he has a black background. I don't know why he has that, so we're going to paste your image. Hopefully, look how cute this Pooh Bear is. Or this one. This is an inquisitive Pooh Bear. This one is happier. It's hard to decide, so many great Pooh Bears. I like this one with the heart. Let's do this one. We're going to copy this Pooh Bear in. We're going to paste. That's better. Now we're going to size them out to be the size we want within here. So I want to just make them real nice and pretty large. I like that right there. That nice big chunk on a shirt. If it's 11 by 17, I can kind of picture the size it is. It says it's going to be about 12 inches across, but that's not including the outline. But if he's right through here, that's going to fit real nice. So I like the idea of that size image. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to trace our Winnie the Pooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here where it says Open Trace Panel, and it looks kind of like a butterfly with a box around it. I'm going to select that. Then it has Select Trace Area. I'm going to go ahead and select my Winnie the Pooh. Then I'm going to just click Outline. I think solid fill, sorry y'all. Cameo is not my main thing I use, but I know it pretty well. And we're going to click Trace Outer Edge. Now to check our file, I like to click on my Winnie the Pooh and pull him. You should see an outline of his whole body like so. Then just hit the back button, he'll return back to where he was. From this step, we now want to go back to our page setup. On our page setup screen, you'll see this on your third tab over. It looks like a sheet with 3 little marks. That's your registration mark. Y'all see that real well? Abby, can they see that? Cool. And then we're going to turn registration marks on, like so. Next thing I like to do with these registration marks is I like to make the length pretty much as much as it'll let me go, and the thickness as much as it'll let me do. And then the inset here, how far is in design, I like to pull that in as much as I can. I find that if I get that as close as possible, it reads the information a lot better and does a lot better registering the image and cutting it out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the page setup, and I am going to turn on a cutting mat. I'm going to use a 12 by 24, like so. And now I'm going to print our image. So again, I have the Epson with the Cosmo Inks set up, and I'm going to go File, Print. Like the way he looks. Going to hit Print. We're going to hit OK. So I got a mat down here. We adjust these things a little bit because we're going to use this. Go to hit the button on the back. Sorry, camera made a noise. The red one. And it's printing. So while this prints, I'm going to set my Cameo. So right now the pen controller is pulled in for matless cutting. I'm going to pull that out a bit for matte cutting. Now we're going to wait till my our image is printed. I always print 2, especially if it's a first time image that I haven't printed before, just to make sure I get it right. It's me being maybe a little silly, but it definitely keeps me from having headaches. Our lovely Winnie Pooh. Keep in mind, sublimation prints will always look kind of faded before they're pressed. The ink isn't activated yet. So it's completely normal if your print looks a little faded. Now I have a little bit of banding in my red. That's probably because I haven't printed on it all week. Keep in mind, if you do convert a sublimation printer, you got to print to it semi-regularly or it clogs easily. So you can run into banding and stuff. Probably the second one coming out most likely won't have banding. Well, he has a little bit. That's okay. Most time, minor banding does come out when you heat press sublimation. So I got 2 just in case one messes up. So we're going to place them on our cut mat. Make sure it is nice and on there. I like to get it right on to like the 1-inch spot, like really line them up real good and keep them kind of straight if I can. he has too much of an angle. I find sometimes it doesn't track the greatest. Great job. And now we're going to stick him in. So this is just the sublimation sheet that I printed on that I want to cut out. The reason I'm cutting out the sublimation sheet, I could just sit there and line them up with the easy SubliFabric, sorry, the SubliFabric transfer. I could just line up the sheet and not cut them out, but I find cutting it out makes it a lot easier. So I'm doing this added step to make it easier to line this all up when I create the shirt. So I want to take this over to send. I like to do line send, doing the red. We're doing cardstock, set to cardstock plane, that's fine. I like to bump it up to a 425. Speed's slow, let's make that 15. And I always do double pass on things. Just make sure it can cut all the way through. We're cutting on matte, so I know my goal is for this to cut all the way through and kind of peel out, so that should make it work. So let's send it. So right now it's reading the registration mark. It's reading the second registration mark, and now I'll read the third. Now once all these registration marks are read, it goes to the side and we'll set its tool to the proper settings. And now we'll begin cutting our Winnie the Pooh out. Sounds like a good dubstep song. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but the Cameo is a lovely sound. All right, we're gonna pop him out. Let's see if he cut through properly. Oh man, do you see that, y'all? Came right on out. I'm gonna toss this paper here. So our Winnie the Pooh sublimation transfer part is complete. Now it's time to do the SubliFabric. So we're not going to need the cut mat for the SubliFabric. SubliFabric comes in 12 by 20 sheets and also comes in 20 by 15 foot rolls. We're going to readjust our Cameo, so I want to pop this part open, move this in just one little notch. That way our SubliFabric 2.0, we can load that directly in like so. Next step I'm going to do is I'm going back to our Cameo software, and I am going to add an outline to our Winnie the Pooh. So I want to go down to here where there's a little star for the offset panel, and I want to add an offset. I don't want a very big offset. I'm just going to do 1.0, and I want to hit apply. But first I want to go up here and change this to the color blue before I hit apply. Let's see. For some reason that didn't put one, so I'm going to do again here. I want to just click directly on that red line, do the offset, hit apply. And I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to select that offset I just created, change the color to blue. All right, it did it on the inset. I meant the offset to be turned blue. Well, it'll work the same. Well, it can be red. So we're going to now go to send. So we want to cut that offset line that is the red here. So we're going to turn off the blue layer. We're going to just send the red right here. So for this material, I'm going to change the material to heat transfer printable fabric. Should be on here. Like so, heat transfer printable fabric. But I want to definitely boost the blade to 4. I'm going to put the speed to 15. I don't know why it's so slow. And I'm going to put the force at 22. And we're going to do it as 2 passes to make sure it cuts really well. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back to design. We're going to turn off the cut mat. And we're going to turn off the registration mark so it's not searching for these registration marks. We're going to go to send. and I want to send it now. I'm not mirroring this image because the sublimation image is also mirrored, so they'll both kind of mirror each other and end up being the right direction. Now, keep in mind with this style transfer, just like any dark garment transfer, they tend to work much better when you do them in solid one-piece designs. If you have a bunch of lettering that's unconnected, they're much more difficult to pull off cleanly. So doing it this way will work much better. Another thing that I do is I do a light offset. I find that light offset makes it much easier to line things up. You will have a little white outline, but that doesn't necessarily ever look bad. So we're going to take this guy, let's double check him. Before I even peel him off the machine, I want to make sure he is weedable. He is. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to trim out the excess. Now, one downside to this material I have found is that this material is not the easiest to weed material when it's cool. I find that it weeds a lot nicer if you use it on a warm heat press. So I've had my heat press back here at 315. I'm going to move it like so. I'm going to take my transfer over to it on the warm plan, and I'm going to peel it on the warm plan. It's going to peel so much easier that way than if I was to peel it on the cold table. So only downside to this transfer is that it is a little hard to peel at first. If cut properly though, it should just peel right on out. The warm table helps it release from that liner though, and makes it a lot easier, y'all. If you cut this material incorrectly, it's made of two separate layers, the glue layer and the fabric layer. If you cut it incorrectly, the fabric layer and the glue layer will separate. So if that happens to you, you've cut it wrong. There we go, y'all. So next thing I want to do is I want to press it, our first layer, which is the SubliFabric 2.0. So I want to take a Gildan 100% cotton black t-shirt. I have a heat press set to 315 degrees with a medium pressure. And we're going to press it. So I want to do a pre-press, just get some of these wrinkles out. Excuse me, and any moisture that might be in there, just for about 4 seconds.
Daryl asked, could you have cut the space out between his legs for a better design?
I could have. If you didn't hear that, Daryl asked if I could have cut the space out between his legs for a better design. I absolutely could have. I'm not the most competent with the Cameo software. I'm more like a graph tech guy, and I don't really know how to do that easily on the Cameo. So folks, what we're going to do next is we're going to press it for 12 seconds at 315 degrees. So this is a warm peel, y'all. So that means I'm taking it away from the press. I'm going to give it a shake. It's almost a cold peel, but a cold peel means it's truly cold to the touch. This can be warm to the touch. You just want to give it a few seconds to adhere. Then you're going to peel it at a tight angle up. That should leave you with something like this, y'all. So it's almost like a white piece of vinyl, but it's almost fabric-like. If you have little strains, little stray little fabric pieces, you can pull them away or cut them away, or even take a lighter to it and they'll burn away. It's almost like twill, but thinner. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our heat press and we're going to pop up the temperature. The sublimation temperature is like 400 degrees. So while it heats up, we're going to put the shirt back on there. Now, this could work for a variety of different things. Say we didn't cut out our Winnie the Pooh, like this. We could take the whole sheet of a Winnie the Pooh and we could carefully line it up if we wanted to. Carefully do it that way. Or if we're trying to get a more accurate transfer, cut out your Winnie the Pooh like we did, and then he'll just be able to lay directly on there, and it'll almost give him a cool little outline look to it. This material is slightly sticky at first. The stickiness goes away at the end when you do a press with a Teflon sheet, parchment paper. But the stickiness does help keep your transfer in place while you press it. We're still heating up. It'll be a few more minutes. Any suggestions for a second design anyone would like to see? No? Okay, cool. You want to do an alien? Okay. So we will do an alien while we wait on this to heat up. So for an alien, so for y'all just joining us, we're doing it one more time. Here's a cute alien for Abby. I'm going to copy image. Again, we're going to start by selecting cutting mat, 12 by 24, medium size, exact size that we're going to be printing to, so 11 by 17. Now I'm going to paste, Control V, my image from Google. I'm going to size him the size I want him to be. Let's go real big with this guy. And now we're going to trace them. Like so. We're going to trace the outer edge, but we want the whole thing. Edge, like so. Next thing we want to do is we're going to set up the registration marks. Make sure the inset's right at the edge. That's a little bit in towards it. So there we go. I like to make the insets as big, or the registration marks as big as possible. That looks pretty good. I'm going to move him down just a little bit. Whoa. Like that. We're going to go File, Print. Send it to our Epson with Sublimation ink within it. Hit OK. While that works, we're going to grab our cut mat. And it's printed. So I'm going to adjust my Cameo real quick. I want to move my pen controller to the farther position for the cut mat. Our heat press is almost there. So you don't have to technically wait for the initial press when you're putting the material on for it to be at 300 degrees. I pressed it while I was at 400 and it works fine. It even held up in the wash fine. The only downside to doing that is if you have a sensitive fabric or a different color than, say, black, it could change the color or scorch the fabric pressing it. That's the only risk you run. Wow, that looks way better on the computer screen than it does printed. Look at the alien! And again, these are us making quick designs. When you make something at home, spend more time on it. Make it pretty. We're going to stick him right in. might even send them. Well, let's send them like this first. Looking good. I want to do like a 3 or 4. Do like a 20-ish. Do a 15. Do some 2 passes on there. Yeah, that should be good. Let's send it. So something that can happen with the Cameo, I've noticed, is sometimes when your registration mark, it will pick up actually the edge of the paper and think that's the registration mark and cut off. If that ever happens, it sucks, and you kind of have to redo it. Oh. A way to prevent that of it misreading that registration mark as the edge is you can bring in the inset a little bit or make it thicker. That tends to help. I like this song. Sounds good. Oh my. Cameos are so fun. I'm slightly sarcastic there. I like the Cameo. It's a fine machine for the cost and capabilities. It's a great machine. Is it the same as the $2,000 machine I normally use? No, of course not. But for what it is, it's great. It's just the GraphTech that I normally use is a lot faster, but more folks have these, so I'm happy to show what I know with this. Good job, Cameo. Shoot it out. So we're going to take a look at our little man and get rid of that. Check our heat press. Is that hot yet? Ooh, we're pretty much near the temperature. Here's our cutout alien. Real cute. So again, y'all, next thing we're going to do is we're going to move in the pen controller on the Cameo. We're going to go back to design. We're going to remove the matte. We're going to select matte as none. Keep the size the same if we want to. Next thing we're also going to do is I want to just move the actual picture out and delete him away. I'm going to click on his outline. I'm going to do an offset, just a little one. Just a little one. Don't need it too crazy. I want to change the color of this offset to blue. And then I want to hit apply. Now I want to hit send. I almost forgot. Before we hit send, we're going to turn off the registration mark. If you don't do that, I'll be searching for a registration mark and I'll put you back like 5 minutes in time. And from there, we're going to click line, only send the blue layer as our outline around him. And I just realized I don't have that material to make a second one.
What?
Yeah, can you go grab me a sheet, homegirl? While she goes grab us the sheet to make our second one, it looks like our heat press is finally hot. So let me press that. Sorry, y'all. I'm dysfunctional sometimes. Here we go. Our heat press is at 394 degrees. That's close enough to 400 to be fine. We're going to set it for 45 seconds. You can do longer if you want. So 45 seconds is going to get you usually the right amount of color, but if you need your image a little more rich, a little more dark, go for a full 60 seconds. So I'm going to give him a press. Whoa, before I do, almost made a mistake there, y'all. You want to cover it with parchment paper or Teflon. Excuse me, y'all. The reason you want to cover it is it can bleed up and dye the top of your heat press. So we're going to let it go for about 45 seconds. While that happens, I'm going to, Abby just delivered me some more SubliFabric, and I'm going to send it through the Cameo. Again, I'm going to change the settings up though. I like my blade around 4, my force about 25, my speed about 15, and double passes. Let's do the force even higher. Let's do a 29, 30. Send it! All right, here we go. It's popping time. Boom. Away our sheet. And then we're just going to peel away our Winnie the Pooh sublimation sheet. Look at this, y'all. That's SubliFabric 2.0. It looks great. It's vibrant, feels a lot better than some of the other easier sublimation options. It's awesome stuff, it really is. So let's do the backside with this alien. And if you're a local customer, this shirt's going to be out on display so you can feel and touch and try it yourself. Don't be afraid to come by and touch it. Woo. Actually, before I put this back on there, I want to take our awesome alien and I want to take him over here and pull him or weed him with him being warm, like I said. Now, you don't even need a weeding tool with this material. You just got to get a good edge. And just pull up. Like so, like so. So folks, I didn't send it with the right cut signs, I guess. Because he didn't weed at all. And now I'm looking at it, I see my blade height wasn't high enough. So we made one, y'all. Make sure your blade height's right, y'all.
You don't want to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't send it. Don't get confident. Always do test cuts. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we forget to do test cuts. But y'all saw how it works. You got how to do every part of it. Just make sure you do a test cut. Find what works best for your cutter. It's not necessarily a one setting works for all sort of thing. Blades wear down. A lot of people don't want to understand that for some reason, but blades wear down. So Just because one setting or you have a preset and it works sometimes, that preset's not always going to work because your blade wears down and is not as powerful, and your machine itself wears down and is not as powerful. Almost every cut will start to wear it away. So oftentimes it's really wise to do a test cut and kind of understand the idea behind of having more pressure versus a longer blade sticking out and your speed and how they all affect each other. And don't be afraid to always do double passes. They make a huge difference. Yeah. Any comments, questions, or concerns? No? Do we have viewers? Oh, okay. I might need a new blade in this Cameo, I'm thinking, because this ain't cutting, y'all. It worked the first time. Thank you for watching. So this is PerfecPress SubliFabric 2.0. It's available now. It's already really popular. People are buying it left and right. It's selling really great. Make sure you got a fresh blade in your Cameo before using it, but it works really great. It's good looking stuff. Highly recommend it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back. Well, we're off next week. I'm going to the beach. It's going to be fun. And I'll be back with some new. If you notice, we got a little bit of a new set today, and we're doing some improvements on the set and some new equipment and stuff. So see y'all in 2 or so weeks. Yeah, and we'll have a great time. And please comment below what you'd like to see us go over. Something that you want to know, some sort of skill, some sort of design. Let us know. We'll master it and teach you the next week. So please comment what you would like to learn below, and we'll be back in 2 weeks, y'all, with a new, bigger, better, and greater PerfecPress Live. See you then.